Hello, and welcome to Whispered Tales. Tonight, we embark on a journey to the frozen reaches of the north, where snow blankets the earth like a silent guardian, and the whispers of the past echo through the icy winds. I invite you to settle into a comfortable place, let the weight of the day drift away, and allow yourself to be carried into a tale woven with the threads of ancient Viking lore. This is a story of courage and fate, a tale where the gods watch from the skies, and the mighty Jotun stalk the shadowed forests. It is a story of Eirik, a young warrior whose path is shaped by the will of the Norns, the weavers of destiny. From the depths of peril to the heights of divine favor, his journey will remind us of the unyielding spirit that lies within us all. If you love to lose yourself in the magic of mythology and the art of storytelling, don't forget to follow Whispered Tales for more enchanting journeys. Now, close your eyes and let us begin. Feel the chill of the northern winds. Hear the distant howl of a wolf, the crackle of frost beneath your feet. This is where our story unfolds, a place where legends live on, and the gods themselves are said to tread lightly. Welcome to the world of Vikings. The tale begins in the frozen heart of Midgard, where the land meets the sky in a breathtaking expanse of snow-covered peaks and frost-bitten valleys. Here, the winter sun is a pale, fleeting companion, casting long shadows over the icy tundra before retreating beyond the horizon. The northern winds carry whispers of ancient songs, melodies of triumph and sorrow, echoing through the towering pines and frozen fjords. In this harsh yet mesmerizing realm lies the small village of Jorvikstead, nestled in the embrace of towering cliffs. Life here is a constant struggle against the unforgiving elements. The villagers live by the rhythms of the seasons, their days marked by the soft crunch of snow underfoot and the glow of firelight reflected in the icy surfaces of their modest homes. Yet, amid the struggle, a deep bond unites the people of Jorvikstead, for they believe they are watched over by the gods themselves. Legends of Asgard and its mighty gods are woven into the fabric of their lives. Each night, as the aurora borealis dances across the darkened skies, the villagers say it is a sign of the Valkyries riding to carry brave souls to Valhalla. The children huddle close by the fire, listening wide-eyed to tales of Odin, the All-Father, and Thor, the thunder-wielding protector. But beyond the safety of their homes, the wilderness is untamed and treacherous. It is said that in the depths of the forest, the Jotun, giants of frost and stone, stir in their ancient slumber, waiting for the day they might reclaim the world. Few dare to venture far from the village, for the land itself seems alive, testing the resolve of those who tread its paths. This is where our story takes root. Among these resilient people lives a young man named Eirik, whose destiny is bound to the whispers of the Norns and the ever-watchful eyes of the gods. What begins as an ordinary life in a simple village will soon transform into a journey that spans the realms of mortals and gods alike. In the quiet heart of Jorvikstead, where the village's warm fires fought against the eternal cold, a young man named Eirik Frostborn lived a life of quiet strength and unyielding determination. Eirik was the son of Sigurd, a seasoned warrior who had once sailed to far lands with the famed Viking raiders, and Astrid, a healer known for her wisdom and kindness. From his father, Eirik inherited a strong frame and unshakable courage, while his mother gifted him a gentle heart and a mind open to the wonders of the world. Eirik's golden hair glimmered like sunlight on a winter morning, and his eyes were the clear, piercing blue of the northern seas. Though his appearance bore the hallmarks of a hero from the sagas, Eirik did not yet see himself as such. To him, life was about tending the hearth, protecting the village from wolves, and braving the icy forests to gather wood or hunt for food. Yet, there was something about Eirik that set him apart from the other villagers. He often felt the pull of something greater, a longing to understand the mysteries of the world beyond the boundaries of Jorvikstead. When the elders told tales of the gods and their mighty deeds, Eirik would sit close, absorbing every word. The stories of Yggdrasil, the great tree that connected the 9 realms, and the Norns, who wove the threads of destiny, stirred something deep within him. The villagers whispered that Eirik was touched by the gods, for he had survived a strange omen at birth. On the night he was born, the northern lights had blazed brighter than ever before, painting the sky with shifting hues of emerald and gold. A lone raven had perched atop the roof of his family's home, its eyes glinting as if with hidden knowledge. The village Volva, a wise woman who interpreted the signs of the gods, declared that Eirik's life would be extraordinary, marked by trials and a destiny tied to the divine. Despite these whispers, Eirik grew up grounded, spending his days chopping wood, hunting, and training with his father's old sword. Yet, as he grew older, he found himself dreaming of the vast unknown, the realms spoken of in sagas and the glories of a fate yet unwritten. The forest seemed to call to him, its icy winds whispering secrets meant only for him. Little did Eirik know, the threads of his destiny had already begun to weave into the great tapestry of the gods, and soon, his ordinary life in Jorvikstead would be irrevocably changed. Life in Jorvikstead was a delicate dance with the relentless forces of nature. The northern wilderness was both a giver and a taker, offering sustenance with its game and fish, yet demanding tribute in the form of unyielding labor and constant vigilance. Every villager bore the mark of this balance. Their hands were roughened by cold and toil, their eyes sharp from watching the horizon for storms or lurking predators. The winters in Jorvikstead were not merely a season but a force of life that shaped everything it touched. The snow, piled high like frozen waves, turned the landscape into a vast expanse of white silence. The cold seeped into the bones, yet the villagers met it with quiet resilience. Fires burned day and night in the hearths, their flickering light casting shadows that danced across walls made of timber and stone. The people of the village lived in tightly knit harmony, bound by the knowledge that survival depended on one another. Hunters ventured into the frost-bitten forests, their bows strung with sinew and their steps careful against the crunch of snow. Fishermen braved the icy fjords, breaking through the ice to cast their nets, while the women wove warm cloaks of wool and repaired the tools of daily life. Even the children understood their place in the ceaseless rhythm of the north. They carried bundles of firewood, tended to the animals, and listened wide-eyed to the tales of the elders, who spoke of days when giants roamed the land and gods walked among men. Yet, amid the struggle, there was beauty, an unyielding, breathtaking beauty that was uniquely the North's own. The endless forest sparkled under the pale light of the winter sun, their frost-coated branches glittering like a million tiny stars. The frozen fjords mirrored the sky, creating a dreamlike world where earth and heaven seemed to meet. And at night, the aurora borealis wove across the darkened expanse, painting the heavens with hues of green and gold, a reminder to the villagers of the gods' presence above. For Eirik, the land was more than a home, it was a place of endless wonder and challenge. He found solace in the whispers of the wind through the pines and the distant call of a lone wolf echoing across the tundra. Yet, he also felt the weight of his duty. Each day brought with it the need to defend his people, to venture into the unknown for food or resources, and to stand as a shield between the village and the encroaching wild. Despite the village's closeness, there were whispers of unease. Strange tracks had been seen in the snow, massive footprints that could belong to no man or beast they knew. The winds carried an unnatural chill, and the howls of wolves sounded eerily like mournful cries. The elders murmured of omens, their eyes turning toward the distant mountains where the Jotun was said to sleep. Eirik, though young, felt these changes deeply. He could sense it in the air, in the way the land seemed to hold its breath, as if awaiting something monumental. As he gazed out over the horizon, he wondered what lay beyond the borders of Jorvikstead. He did not yet know that soon he would have his answer, and that it would change his life and his world forever. One moonless night, as the village huddled around their fires to stave off the encroaching chill, an air of unease settled over Jorvikstead. The winds carried an eerie silence, broken only by the occasional crack of ice shifting in the fjords. It was on this night that the village Volva, the wise woman and seer of the gods, called for Eirik. The Volva was a figure of mystery, revered and feared in equal measure. She lived on the outskirts of the village in a small hut, surrounded by talismans and charms made from bone, stone, and feathers. Her wisdom was said to come from the gods themselves, her words woven with the threads of fate. Her voice, it was whispered, could summon storms or silence the winds. Eirik approached her home with trepidation. The pale light of the stars illuminated the path, and the northern lights cast shifting patterns on the snow. As he reached her door, it opened of its own accord, revealing the Volva seated by a low fire. Her face was lined with the years, her eyes gleaming like polished obsidian. "Enter, Eirik Frostborn," she said, her voice a haunting melody that seemed to echo with the whispers of another world. Eirik stepped inside, the warmth of the fire a stark contrast to the chill outside. The air was thick with the scent of herbs and smoke. The Volva gestured for him to sit, and as he did, she began to chant softly, her words flowing like a river through the air. "The Norns have spoken," she said finally, her gaze piercing. "The threads of your fate are woven into the tapestry of the realms, Eirik. You are chosen, though not by your own will." Eirik's heart pounded. Chosen? For what? The Volva reached into a pouch at her side, drawing forth runestones. She cast them onto the ground, their patterns forming a web of meaning only she could decipher. She studied them for a moment before looking back at him. "A great shadow stirs in the mountains," she said. "The Jotun awaken from their slumber, and the balance of the 9 realms is at risk. The gods have sent omens, ravens, wolves, and the lights in the sky. They all point to you." "Me?" Eirik's voice was a mix of disbelief and fear. "I am no warrior of legend. I am but a hunter, a villager." "You are more than you know," the Volva said firmly. "Within you lies the blood of kings and the favor of the gods. You must journey beyond Jorvikstead, to the peaks where the Frost Jotun dwell. There, you will find the key to restoring the balance. But beware, the road is fraught with trials, and the choices you make will shape not only your fate but the fate of the realms." She reached for a small bundle wrapped in fur and handed it to him. Inside was a talisman, a small, intricately carved piece of bone, etched with runes. "This will guide you," she said. "It is a gift from the gods, though its power comes at a cost." Eirik stared at the talisman, the weight of her words settling over him like the coldest winter night. He felt the pull of destiny, an invisible thread tugging him toward an unknown future. "Go now," the Volva whispered, her voice softer but no less commanding. "The winds of fate have begun to blow, and they will not wait for you. The gods are watching, Eirik Frostborn. Do not fail them." With those words echoing in his mind, Eirik left the hut and stepped into the night. The aurora borealis shimmered above, a vibrant reminder of the divine forces at play. He clutched the talisman tightly, his heart heavy with the knowledge that his life would never again be the same. In the days following his meeting with the Volva, Eirik found himself haunted by her words. The ordinary rhythm of his life in Jorvikstead seemed to slow, as if the world itself held its breath. Each night, as he lay beneath the thatched roof of his family's home, he replayed the prophecy in his mind, unable to escape the weight of the task that lay before him. The gods, it seemed, wasted no time in reminding him of his path. Signs began to appear, each more unsettling than the last. One morning, as Eirik ventured into the forest to hunt, he stumbled upon a strange sight. A raven, black as midnight and far larger than any bird he had seen, perched upon the low branch of a frost-bitten pine. Its eyes gleamed with an unnatural intelligence, and as Eirik approached, the bird let out a single, echoing caw before taking flight. It circled overhead for a moment, then disappeared into the icy sky. He knew the stories well. Ravens were the messengers of Odin, the All-Father, whose wisdom spanned the 9 realms. The appearance of such a creature was no coincidence. It was a sign, a silent command urging him forward. Later that week, while tending the fire at dusk, Eirik heard the distant howling of wolves. The sound was not uncommon in the north, yet there was something different this time. The howls carried a mournful melody, weaving through the air like an ancient song. As he stepped outside to listen more closely, he caught sight of movement near the edge of the forest. A lone wolf, silver as moonlight, stood there, watching him with piercing amber eyes. It was unafraid, its gaze steady and unyielding. For a moment, it felt as though time had stopped, and the world shrank to just Eirik and the creature. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the wolf turned and loped into the shadows, leaving Eirik with the unmistakable feeling that it, too, had been sent by the gods. The villagers noticed these signs as well. The elders whispered of omens, their voices hushed but urgent. The aurora borealis, they said, had been unusually vibrant in recent nights, its colors flickering as though in a hurried dance. The winds carried unfamiliar scents, and the animals of the forest moved with an unease that set even the most seasoned hunters on edge. Eirik could no longer deny what was being asked of him. The Volva's prophecy, the raven, the wolf, the lights in the sky, all pointed to a single truth: his path was set. He was to leave Jorvikstead, to journey beyond the safety of his home into the unknown. As he prepared for his departure, his mother, Astrid, placed her hands on his shoulders, her eyes filled with both pride and worry. "You were born under the watchful gaze of the gods," she said softly. "They have chosen you, my son, and though it fills me with fear, I know you must go. Carry the strength of your ancestors with you, and remember, you are never truly alone." Eirik nodded, the talisman from the Volva clutched tightly in his hand. He felt the weight of his father's old sword at his side and the warmth of his mother's words in his heart. On the morning of his departure, the villagers gathered to see him off. Though they said little, their presence spoke volumes. As Eirik stepped beyond the borders of Jorvikstead, the northern winds seemed to rise, carrying with them a whisper, a voice that felt both distant and near, ancient and eternal. "Go, Eirik Frostborn," it seemed to say. "Your destiny awaits." And so, Eirik set forth into the wilderness, the call of the gods guiding his every step. The wilderness stretched endlessly before Eirik, a frozen expanse of snow-covered plains and shadowy forests. Each step was met with the crunch of frost beneath his boots and the relentless bite of the northern wind. He carried with him only the essentials: his father's sword, the Volva's talisman, and a cloak to guard against the chill. But in his heart, he bore the weight of his mission, the knowledge that he was walking into the unknown. Days turned into nights, the pale sun giving way to skies filled with the swirling colors of the aurora borealis. Though the land was harsh and unyielding, Eirik pressed on, driven by the signs he had seen and the destiny whispered to him. Yet, it wasn't long before he encountered his first trial, a test that would prove the strength of his resolve. Deep in the heart of the forest, where the trees stood tall and ancient, Eirik felt the air grow heavy. The wind died, and a deep, unnatural silence descended. It was the kind of stillness that spoke of something watching, waiting. He tightened his grip on the hilt of his sword, his eyes scanning the shadows. Then, it emerged, a Jotun, a frost giant of legend. Towering above the treetops, its body was as white and jagged as the glacier themselves, its eyes glowing with an icy blue light. Frost clung to its form, and with each step, the ground beneath it froze solid. Eirik had heard tales of the Jotun, but nothing could have prepared him for the sheer presence of the creature. It gazed down at him, its expression a mix of curiosity and disdain. "Who dares trespass upon the land of the giants?" The Jotun's voice rumbled, deep and resonant, shaking the very ground. Eirik swallowed his fear, standing tall despite the odds. "I am Eirik Frostborn, chosen by the gods to restore balance to the realms. If I must face you to fulfill my destiny, so be it." The Jotun let out a low, thunderous laugh. A mortal, with nothing but steel and bravado? You amuse me, little one. But the gods have no power here, and neither do you. With a swing of its massive arm, the Jotun sent a wave of icy shards hurtling toward Eirik. He dove to the side, narrowly avoiding the deadly projectiles. The frost clung to his cloak, biting into his skin, but he refused to falter. Drawing his sword, Eirik charged, his breath visible in the frigid air. The Jotun swiped at him again, its massive hand tearing through the trees like paper. Eirik ducked beneath the blow, using his smaller size and agility to his advantage. The talisman around his neck began to glow faintly, its runes pulsing with a warm, golden light. As the light grew brighter, Eirik felt a surge of strength and clarity, as though the gods themselves were guiding his hand. He dodged another attack, rolling to his feet and slashing at the Jotun's leg. The blade bit deep, and the creature roared in pain, its icy blood spilling onto the ground. For a moment, it seemed as though Eirik had gained the upper hand. But the Jotun was not so easily defeated. It raised its massive fists, slamming them into the earth. The ground cracked and split, sending Eirik tumbling backward. He scrambled to his feet, his heart pounding. In that instant, the talisman flared with light once more, and a voice echoed in his mind, calm, steady, and ancient. Strike with purpose, Eirik Frostborn. Remember, the strength of the gods is in the courage of your heart. Gritting his teeth, Eirik steadied himself. He waited for the Jotun's next attack, his sword poised. As the giant swung again, he darted forward, dodging the massive blow and driving his blade deep into the creature's chest. The Jotun let out a final, ear-splitting roar before collapsing, its form dissolving into a cloud of frost and snow. For a moment, all was still. Then, as the winds returned, they carried with them a sense of triumph, a silent acknowledgement from the gods. Eirik stood amidst the remains of the battle, his breath coming in ragged gasps. He looked down at the talisman, its glow fading, and felt a surge of determination. This was only the beginning, he knew. The path ahead would be even more treacherous, but he had proven to himself and to the gods that he was ready. With renewed resolve, he tightened his cloak around him and stepped forward into the endless white, the whispers of destiny urging him onward. The forest thinned as Eirik pressed onward, giving way to a vast, frozen expanse of jagged cliffs and shimmering ice. Here, the air was sharper, colder, and heavy with the weight of ancient magic. The Volva's words echoed in his mind. To restore balance, you must find the Iter Stone, a relic forged in the fires of creation, infused with the essence of life and chaos. The Iter Stone, according to legend, was hidden deep within the mountains where frost and fire met. It was said to contain the raw energy of Yggdrasil's roots, a power capable of restoring harmony or unleashing destruction. Many had sought it before, but none had returned. Eirik tightened his grip on the talisman, feeling its warmth pulse faintly against his chest, guiding him like a beacon through the desolation. His path was treacherous, ice-coated ridges threatened to crumble beneath his boots, and the howl of distant winds carried with it the warning of unseen dangers. As he neared the base of a towering mountain, a low growl stopped him in his tracks. From the shadows of the icy crags emerged a creature unlike any he had ever seen. A massive wolf, its fur as white as the snow around it, stood in his path. Its eyes glowed with an otherworldly light, one golden, the other an unsettling shade of blue. This was no ordinary beast. It was Fenrirkin, a descendant of the great wolf Fenrir, bound to guard the mountain and its secrets. The wolf's growl reverberated through the air as it stepped closer, its breath forming clouds of frost. Eirik drew his sword, though he knew brute strength alone would not win this battle. The talisman around his neck began to glow again, its warmth spreading through him like a whispered reminder of the god's presence. "You seek the Iter Stone," the wolf rumbled, its voice deep and resonant, echoing in Eirik's mind as much as his ears. "But its power is not meant for mortals. Why should I allow you to pass?" Eirik met the creature's gaze, his voice steady despite the fear gripping his heart. "The realms are out of balance. The Jotun awaken, and chaos stirs in their wake. I am chosen to restore what has been lost, and the Iter stone is the key." The wolf tilted its head, its golden eye narrowing. "Words are wind. Prove your worth, mortal." Before Eirik could respond, the wolf lunged. Its movements were swift, blinding, a blur of white fur and sharp fangs. Eirik barely managed to dodge, rolling across the icy ground and rising to his feet. The talisman flared brighter, its light casting long shadows across the snow. The battle was a dance of agility and instinct. The wolf struck with precision, its claws raking through the air, but Eirik moved with purpose, each step guided by the glowing talisman. His sword clashed against the wolf's claws, sparks flying in the frigid air. Finally, as the wolf prepared for another charge, Eirik raised the talisman high. Its light surged, blinding and warm, halting the wolf in its tracks. The creature growled, its form wavering for a moment before settling back onto its haunches. "You carry the mark of the gods," the wolf said, its tone softer now, almost reverent. "Very well, Eirik Frostborn. You have proven your resolve. The path to the Iter stone lies beyond the mountain's heart, but beware, its power is not without cost." The wolf stepped aside, revealing an ancient archway carved into the mountain, its edges glowing faintly with runes. Eirik sheathed his sword and approached the arch, pausing only to look back at the wolf. "Thank you," he said, his voice quiet but sincere. The wolf inclined its head. "Do not squander the gift you've been given, mortal. The gods are watching." With those parting words, Eirik stepped through the archway and into the mountain's depths. The air grew warmer, filled with the faint hum of energy and the drip of melting ice. The Iter stone was close, its presence a pulsing force that seemed to resonate with the beat of his heart. He knew this was only the beginning of the trials it would bring. But for now, he moved forward, each step guided by the light of the talisman and the whispers of destiny. Deep within the heart of the mountain, Eirik finally stood before the Iter stone. It was smaller than he had imagined, no larger than a man's fist, yet its presence filled the cavern with an immense, otherworldly energy. The stone pulsed with shifting colors, vibrant blues and fiery oranges, as if the very essence of life and chaos warred within it. Runes etched across its surface glowed faintly, their meaning known only to the gods. As he reached out, the talisman around his neck flared with light, binding him to the stone in a way that felt both empowering and overwhelming. The air seemed to hum with a divine presence, and for a moment Eirik heard the distant murmurs of the Norns, the weavers of fate. "Take it," their voices whispered, soft and commanding. "But know this, power always demands sacrifice." Eirik hesitated, his hand hovering above the Iter stone. He thought of Jorvikstead, the village that had raised him, the people who depended on him, and the prophecy that had brought him here. He also thought of the wolf's warning, the stone's power was not without cost. With a deep breath, he grasped the stone. A surge of energy coursed through his body, so intense it felt as though his very being might unravel. His vision blurred, and in an instant, he was no longer in the cavern but standing amidst the stars, surrounded by the great tree Yggdrasil. Its roots stretched infinitely, connecting the 9 realms, and its branches reached into the cosmos, shimmering with the light of creation. Before him appeared a figure cloaked in shadow, yet radiating an undeniable authority. It was Odin, the All-Father. "You have done well, Eirik Frostborn," Odin said, his voice a deep, resonant boom. "Few mortals could endure the trials you have faced, let alone claim the Iter stone. But your journey is not yet complete." Eirik knelt instinctively, the weight of the All-Father's presence pressing upon him. "What must I do, All-Father?" Odin gestured toward the stone in Eirik's hand. The Stone's power must be used to mend the rift between the realms. The awakening of the Jotun is but the beginning of chaos that threatens to consume us all. You, chosen by fate, will be the bridge. Yet to wield its power, you must offer a piece of yourself. Eirik's chest tightened. What do you mean, my lord? The stone requires balance, Odin explained. To harness its power, you must surrender a part of your essence, your memories, your strength, perhaps even your life. This is the price of destiny. The weight of the choice bore down on Eirik like the harshest winter storm. Yet, in his heart, he knew there was no turning back. He thought of his mother's words, of the villagers who had placed their faith in him, and of the gods who had guided his steps. I will do what is needed, Eirik said, his voice steady. Odin nodded, a faint smile curving his lips. So be it, brave mortal. The realms will remember your sacrifice. With a final surge of determination, Eirik pressed the Stone to his chest. Its energy enveloped him, a brilliant light that burned away all darkness. Memories of his life flashed before him, his childhood in Jorvikstead, the faces of his family and friends, the trials he had endured. Each moment filled him with strength and sorrow as the stone claimed its price. When the light faded, Eirik stood alone in the cavern once more. He felt changed, lighter, yet more grounded, as though a piece of him had been given to something greater. The talisman around his neck was now dim, its purpose fulfilled, but the Stone remained in his hand, glowing softly. As he stepped out of the mountain, the storm that had loomed over the land for weeks began to lift. The skies cleared, and the aurora borealis shimmered more brightly than ever before, a sign that the balance of the realms had been restored. Eirik returned to Jorvikstead, greeted by cheers and tears of relief. Yet, as he looked around, he realized he was no longer the same man who had left. The villagers saw him as a hero, but Eirik felt the absence of what he had given. Still, he knew in his heart that the sacrifice had been worth it. From that day on, the gods watched over Jorvikstead with renewed favor, their blessings felt in every harvest and every winter that passed with less harshness than the last. And though Eirik's story became legend, he remained humble, living the rest of his days as both protector and guardian of the realm's harmony. His tale would be told for generations, a reminder that even the smallest spark of courage can light the way in the darkest of nights. Eirik Frostborn's story did not end with the Stone or the lifting of the storm. It endured in the hearts of those who heard it, growing into a tale that transcended the bounds of time. His journey was remembered not merely as one of triumph, but as a lesson to all who followed. The villagers of Jorvikstead often gathered beneath the shimmering auroras, telling the tale of the young man who had been chosen by the gods. Around the warm glow of their fires, they recounted how Eirik's courage had saved not only their village but the balance of the 9 realms. For the children, his deeds became a source of wonder, sparking dreams of valor and adventure. For the elders, it was a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, the strength of the human spirit could endure. Yet, Eirik himself spoke little of his adventure. He preferred the quiet rhythms of daily life, finding solace in the simple joys of hunting, tending to his family, and watching over the village. Though the weight of what he had given lingered, a shadow of memories and strength lost, he carried it with grace. The glow of the Stone now rested in the depths of the mountain, its power dormant but ready should the realms ever call upon it again. As the years passed, Eirik grew into a symbol of something greater. His humility reminded all who met him that heroism is not found in seeking glory but in choosing what is right, even when the cost is high. The gods, too, watched with quiet reverence. Odin, the All-Father, whispered of Eirik's deeds to the halls of Valhalla, where warriors spoke his name with pride. The Norns, weavers of fate, marked his thread as one of the brightest in their tapestry. And in the skies, the auroras danced more brilliantly than ever, a sign of the gods' approval and gratitude. Eirik's story carried a message that echoed through the realms. Even the smallest among us can shape the course of destiny. It is not power or divine favor that defines a hero, but the choices they make when faced with the unknown. As we leave the frozen peaks and return to the warmth of our own lives, let Eirik's tale remind us that within each of us lies a spark of courage waiting to shine. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the icy expanses of the north and the timeless echoes of Viking legend. Eirik Frostborn's tale reminds us that even in the face of uncertainty, the courage to step forward can change not only our own lives but the very fabric of the world around us. As you return to the warmth of your own hearth, let this story be a beacon, a reminder of the strength that lies within us all and the beauty of embracing the unknown. If you enjoyed this tale and wish to hear more stories of myth and wonder, don't forget to follow Whispered Tales. Let's continue exploring together, uncovering the wisdom and magic hidden in ancient lore. Until next time, may your path be clear, your heart be strong, and your dreams as vast as the northern skies. Farewell for now, and may the gods watch over you.